When she said it, I almost laughed. Not because it was funny but because of how cold it sounded. Don't touch me. No anger, no explanation, just a flat wall of rejection. For 3 years, I'd been the one trying to hold our marriage together. Date nights, surprise flowers, cooking dinner after long shifts, you name it, I tried it. Every time I reached for her hand, for her waist, for anything resembling closeness, she would tense up like I'd committed a crime. But this time was different. This time I just nodded, turned around, grabbed my jacket and walked out the front door. No yelling. No begging. No accusations. Just silence. I think that's what scared her the most. Because for months, maybe years, she had gotten used to me chasing her. She had gotten comfortable being the one with all the power, all the control over when, or if, I got to feel wanted. But that night, I didn't come back until morning. And by the time I did, I wasn't the same man who had left. See, when someone repeatedly tells you you're not wanted, you eventually start believing them. You stop trying to fix something that only you care about fixing. And in that quiet, something shifts. I spent that night in my truck parked near the lake. The city was quiet at 2 a.m., just the sound of water and my own thoughts. I replayed every conversation we'd had for the past year, every excuse, every dismissive shrug. I remembered the time I found her laughing with her coworker over drinks, and she brushed it off like it was nothing. I remembered the late-night texts she always hid, the working late, excuses that didn't quite add up. By sunrise, my decision was made. I went home, showered, got dressed like it was any other day. She was still in bed, scrolling her phone. When she saw me, she looked almost relieved, like she thought I'd come back to apologize. Instead, I placed a single envelope on the nightstand. "Read it when you're ready," I said, calm as ever. Then I grabbed my keys and left again. Her face, that confused, frozen expression, will stay with me forever. Inside the envelope wasn't a letter. It was proof. Bank statements, screenshots, and a photo I wish I could unsee. Her and Matt, her just a friend from work, sharing a kiss outside a hotel 2 towns over. I didn't need to add any words. The evidence spoke louder than anything I could have written. An hour later, my phone buzzed. 10 missed calls. 3 texts. "Emily, we need to talk. Emily, please come back. Emily, it's not what it looks like." But I didn't respond. Instead, I drove to my lawyer's office. I had already started the process months ago, quietly gathering everything, preparing for this moment. But this time, I signed the final papers. The petition for divorce was officially in motion. By noon, mutual friends started texting me. Apparently, Emily had gone into full panic mode, calling everyone, trying to find me, trying to explain herself. But there's no explaining away receipts with your name on them and hotel timestamps that match your late-night work calls. That night, I finally went home. She was sitting at the kitchen table, eyes red and swollen. The envelope was still in front of her, paper spread everywhere. "You didn't have to do this," she said quietly. "Didn't have to?" I repeated, almost amused. "Emily, you told me not to touch you. You told me, in every possible way, that I wasn't wanted here. I just gave you what you wanted." Her lip trembled. "I didn't want this," she whispered. "Yes, you did," I said, my voice calm but sharp. "Maybe not like this, maybe not this soon, but you wanted out. You just didn't have the courage to say it. So I said it for both of us." She broke then, sobbing, begging me to stay. But the thing about silence is, once you've sat in it long enough, you stop needing the noise. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I just walked upstairs, grabbed the last of my things, and left again. This time I didn't look back. The next morning, my lawyer served Emily the papers in person. I wasn't there to see it, but a neighbor told me she just stood in the doorway, clutching the documents, pale as a ghost. It was poetic, really. She had told me not to touch her, and now I had made sure I never would again. By the weekend, word had spread. People who once saw us as the perfect couple were whispering, asking her what happened. She tried to spin the story at first, but when the truth came out, and it always does, the sympathy she thought she'd get turned into quiet judgment. I didn't badmouth her. I didn't need to. Instead, I focused on myself. I hit the gym harder, took on a new project at work, went out with friends I hadn't seen in years. Every step I took forward seemed to twist the knife in a way no shouting match ever could. Weeks later, I ran into her at the grocery store. She looked smaller. Not physically, but in spirit. Her usual confidence was gone. She hesitated before speaking, her voice softer than I'd ever heard it. "Adam," she said, almost pleading. "Can we talk? Maybe work this out?" I looked at her for a long moment before answering. "You told me not to touch you, Emily," I said, my tone calm but final. "I respected that. Now you need to respect this." And then I walked away, leaving her standing there with tears welling in her eyes. It wasn't dramatic. No shouting, no scenes. Just a man who had finally chosen peace over pain. That night, I slept better than I had in months. Because revenge isn't always about grand gestures or destruction. Sometimes, it's about reclaiming your life so completely that the person who broke you has no choice but to watch from a distance as you thrive without them. And as far as I'm concerned, that's exactly what she deserved.